Hello, hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Almost Brothers podcast. Thank you for joining us again on episode number 6. What is it, 6, 7?
Yeah, 6 already.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Michael.
I'm Jeremiah.
How's everybody doing today? How are you doing, Jeremiah?
Man, I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I got to go golfing this morning, so.
Gosh, you and the golfing.
I love it. I'm addicted.
I kind of knew you did when you walked in. You got the khakis and the polo on. It's like, oh, yep, he's been golfing.
Yeah, well, got called in, said no work today, so I'm like, it's a beautiful day to be on the golf course. So,
oh, yeah.
So I took the kids. I took Max and Ben with me, which made it really exciting.
Lord help you.
It took the enjoyment level down a notch and the stress level up a notch, but it was awesome, man. It was so fun to get him out there because I'm just like a big kid myself, you know.
Oh yeah.
I get out there, I'm like, come on, stop, man. There's people watching, but then I'm cutting up just like they are. So
oh yeah. Did Max try to do anything?
He didn't this time. No. Last time we got him out and he actually got to putt a little bit and hold the flag for me, put the flag back in the hole, stuff like that. Cool. I always try to make it fun for him.
Heck, and y'all have a membership, right? So
yeah, we do.
Kind of go whenever you want.
Yeah, if I didn't have a membership, I wouldn't be going every chance I got.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, do y'all? I guess you just have to rent a.
Yeah, we just get a cart. You just got to pay a cart fee. Everything else is got the pool and all kinds of stuff there. So.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah. Heck yeah.
It's kind of a nice little getaway.
I would do that, but I'm horrible at golf. So I don't.
You don't have to be good at golf to play golf.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But man, I'd have to let everybody that comes out there like, oh, y'all just play through. Right. Yes. I'm going to be here a while.
Right.
Or like, well, what's the hole that's right by the highway? That's like 4, I think. Yeah,
probably 4. Yep.
And I'm hitting them and scared to death. I'm going to hit somebody driving by.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Well, on today's episode, we're going to kind of talk about balancing our time. Not only with our family and our church, which we talked about with Pastor Tim, kind of balancing that out, but also just in our downtime, balancing, we listen to music or we watch movies or we watch TV shows or play video games. I'm a big video game player. How do we balance that time and exactly where do we fail balancing that time? We got to give God our time. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I just want to start just asking you, Jeremiah, do you find yourself struggling with that, struggling with finding other things as entertainment, but then kind of going past that, it's entertainment to, God, I'm really spending a lot of time on this?
Yeah, it's something that's very, that's just an on-time topic for me right now. I think it's, everybody wants that release. You get home from work and you want to be able to sit down and watch some TV or play a game on your phone or something, but, is what it's been doing to me lately, and the Holy Spirit's really been checking me on it. Is I'm putting that ahead of some of my other things. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with it, so it's not like it's a sin necessarily.
Right.
But it's coming in between. My relationship with the Lord. So where it's hard to sit down and have that half hour, 45 minutes to spend in prayer and in the Word, but yet I'm watching Netflix or playing baseball on my phone or whatever, so I've really been getting checked on that lately. And, it's just, it just becomes a hindrance in your walk whenever, I had a guy that told me one time, when I was in Teen Challenge about, if you make time for the Lord, he'll meet you there. If you don't make time for the Lord, then he's not going to meet with you there. You know what I mean? You have to set aside time, and you have to intentionally make a time to spend with the Lord, and then he honors that. And it may be 10, 15 minutes, but when you're dedicated to it and you intentionally make that time slot for the Lord, he'll honor that, and he'll do amazing things in your life for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's in my life, it was always games. It was always video games. I don't know if I've ever told you the story, but I'll tell it here for anybody who's listening that may not have heard me say it. I was about 13 or 14. I had my appendix bust, and I was in the hospital, and it was almost a month or 3 weeks I was in the hospital, and I started falling into a deep depression, and I never knew what that was. I never had that before, and I really started getting down, and Mom was going back and forth from the hospital to home, and one of my nurses that was in there every day with me, she kind of seen that I was really getting sad and upset. So one day she wheeled in. You remember in school where you had the TV on wheels?
Yeah.
It was like the best day ever when your teacher
Right.
would bring it in.
It was a sub normally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. That's what I'm going to be doing in my class. No,
Bless you.
yeah. But she brought it in, and it had a Nintendo 64 hooked up to it, and she brought it in, and from that day on, I really, really fell in love. I'd played video games before then, but I really fell in love with video games because it brought me out of that depression, and it gave me something to do, and it really opened up a whole nother world to me. So from that day forward, I was always a gamer. Always. I always begged my parents for the latest, greatest PlayStation or an Xbox or whatever it may be. I would always ask them for it because I was in love with video games. And then as I got older and as I got a relationship with the Lord, that really became a hindrance in my time I spent praying, my time I spent reading God's word, my time I spent even with my family. I would be playing video games. And the Lord had to really check me on that. He said, Michael, you'll stay where you're at. He said, that's fine. You'll stay right where you're at. You won't get any closer to me. You won't build this relationship with me. And I had to really look back and say, you know what, I have to make it intentional to put the games aside, make sure I give my time to God first.
Right.
Make sure I really focus on Him and my family before I go and start playing the game. Because like you said, it's not like it's a bad thing that we do this, but it becomes a bad thing when we put it before our time with God.
Right.
And so what is your is it movies, shows? Like, what is your big?
Yeah, I'm a Netflix junkie, man. I can sit down and binge watch a series. I sometimes won't even start one if it's just one season. I'm like, I'll wait till there's 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's right.
I can watch them all.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a number of things, but anything that comes in between, your relationship with the Lord, it is in a sense, in a great sense, is an idol.
Yeah.
And I know we don't like to say that because it sounds harsh or it sounds old school. It sounds like something my grandma would say to me,
Yeah.
but it's the truth. Anything that you put above spending time with the Lord or anything you do more, if I am on my phone scrolling Facebook or whatever, anything else, if playing my baseball game on my phone, if I'm doing that more than I'm communicating with the Lord or more than I'm spending time in prayer, then I got to check my priorities and I got to get some things in order. And I guess what I wanted to talk about today a little bit on this was, if you're in that, it's really simple. You just have to just start setting aside time. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, how do I get out of this? And do I have to stop doing all this? You don't have to stop doing everything. It's just more or less start setting aside a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you say you're going to do 10 or 15 minutes. Well, then you get hungry for more of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just start small and you kind of do a little bit. And then it's like the next thing you know, man, you're going to be spending an hour in the Word and maybe another hour in prayer. And you can't, you're in that intimate place with the Lord and in communication with the Lord where you don't want to be out of His presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the more you have it, the more you want it. So you become addicted to a good thing instead of addicted to something else.
Yeah.
And it starts small. It did for me. And it's harder for me to do it out here. When I was in Teen Challenge and I didn't have all the outside distractions, I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have all my, I had some friends there, but I didn't have, friends and family there with me all the time. And it was a lot easier to stay focused. Yeah. And that's where I started learning those disciplines. But now it's a little more difficult to practice them on the outside. And I'm just being real.
Yeah.
But I know what it was like, and I remember the feeling of spending that time in prayer and in the Word and just wanting more of it. Even if I'd spend an hour and a half or 2 hours in it, I wanted more.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did you ever find it a point in your relationship with your wife? Y'all are newly married, to where it was a problem?
Oh, I mean, kind of recently. It's just it's one of the things where you come home, you're tired, you eat, you get the kids in bed, and then it's like you lay down, and I want to spend a few minutes or whatever on my phone, and then I want to shut it off and roll over and go to sleep. And my wife's like, no.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to give me the last 5 seconds of your day.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to me and you're going to spend some time. And I think that's what she was bringing out about the pet peeve, in the communication. I think what that was stemming from was what's been going on like that, just she just wants to talk to me. She wants to know how my day was. She wants to know what's going on inside my mind, what I'm thinking about, and as guys, we don't really talk about that, want to talk about all that, but that's what women need it's what our wives need from us. You know what I mean? Is for us to open up and be intimate with them in our conversations.
Yeah. To be a part of each other's day. We're gone for, however long it is, 8 hours, 10 hours a day from each other at your jobs. Mm-hmm. And then you get home, and sometimes as guys, like you said, we just want to shut off and I want some alone time, just quiet. I've had to deal with all this all day. I just want quiet. But we have to make it a point and realize that we haven't seen our wives all day, and that's our partner in life.
Right.
And we have to set aside that time and, ask them, hey, how was your day? This is how my day went. And it helps. Instead of her job, my job, it's our day together. It makes it, involved in each other's day. And that's something that we we struggled with I struggled with, because I'd get into the video games and really I'd get home and 2K. I would play 2K for hours, and I would, she'd be up cleaning, or she'd be up doing the dishes or playing with the kids, and I'd be trying, all right, one more game, let me get through with this. And instead that needs to be on the bottom of my priority totem pole.
Right.
I need to be like, you know what, babe, I'm going to spend time with you. I'm going to hang out with the kids. And then if I have time after everything else, I'll deal with that. I'll deal with, if I want to play a game or something.
So when you cut back like that, do you find it, obviously it's much more rewarding spending time with your family, but the time missed playing games and stuff, you don't even really probably miss it.
No. And it has gotten to the point to where, as of right now, I just have a Nintendo Switch. I don't even have, my main console, which is an Xbox. I love the Xbox. And I kind of got rid of that and my PlayStation because I never really played them. As I set priorities correctly, I would just after prayer, after reading my Bible, after hanging out with the kids and Jamie and work, that I really just didn't have much time to do that. So yeah, it made it to where it didn't really seem like I was missing anything, but also I just got rid of them because I really didn't have the time, the time anyway. With the Switch, it's a little different. You could take it with you, so it gets a little different. But yeah, it really did. It really made a difference in my life and in me and Jamie's relationship with each other. Because we go through life. Lee just turned 16. It's crazy how fast life goes, and we waste so much of the little moments, the 30 minutes, the hours that we get to spend with our kids or with our wife, and we kind of waste that. Mm-hmm. We kind of think, oh, it's just another Tuesday. And it's not. It's another opportunity to build these relationships and to love on the people around you. I think that we have enough of that in society, enough of a break from face-to-face contact. We all got our heads on our phones. We all got our heads on Netflix. I think a lot of people struggle with that binge watching. I'm the same way.
I hope I'm not alone there.
Oh, no, not at all. I want to wait till it, like you said, at least a couple seasons so I could blast right through it. But we really do. We got to make it a priority to focus on that. And another question I want to ask you in that, did you ever run into like a money situation with it? I know that was my big thing too, is some of this stuff starts getting expensive.
Well, now you're kind of hitting on my golfing addiction.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it can. Absolutely. You get to where, I guess I never really missed work because of that kind of stuff, but yeah, it definitely can cause a strain on you financially too, because like I said, I like to go and do things. Just the gas money I spend running around, going to the lake, going fishing, doing whatever, which, like I said, I do that, a lot of that stuff with the family, but it seems like I'm always on the go, and so, kind of back to what we were talking about, when you're spending time with the Lord, there's very little cost there. You just need a little bit of time in your Bible and a kitchen table or something. Your place, I think everybody needs to have a place that they can go and get alone with God, to where you can kind of cut out some distractions and get alone with him. But yeah, when you're always on the move and you're always having to do something to entertain and keep your mind preoccupied or whatever, it does get expensive.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and then you just focus so much on that stuff. I need the newest, greatest, best thing that comes out. Oh, there's a new club, or there.
Oh yeah.
For me, oh man, there's a new Xbox coming out this November. Can't wait. Super excited for it. But it's like you get so preoccupied with that stuff that really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like you said, that was perfectly put. Like there's no downside to spending time with God. Mm-hmm. It's all upside. It's all gaining something. We put so much in, and anything, man, anything can be an addiction. I've kind of really started wrapping my head around that, because we look at the main ones, weed or alcohol or whatever these main big ones, but we don't look at caffeine. You can have a caffeine addiction. You can have an entertainment addiction, a phone addiction. We could be putting our wife or our kids before God. Mm-hmm. And God said, there'll be nobody before me.
He'll remove it.
Yeah.
And then he says he's a jealous God. And I don't want to put my kids in that place. Yeah. You want to be all about your kids and really, put them on a level above everything else. But it tells you, that God's going to, he'll take it down, why would I want to put somebody I love in that position?
Yeah.
And, I don't think that, I'm not saying that they're going to bring harm to him or to my kids, but it's just, I just know that like you said, anything you put in front of the Lord can be a stumbling block.
Yeah.
And as far as the addiction goes, I think in my life, man, because I struggled with a lot of them. It didn't matter what it was. I was going to go all out. Yeah. It really didn't matter. And, and a lot of people will tell you, you can do it, but in moderation. Well, if you have a personality like I had, that isn't possible. You know what I mean? You're either all in or you're not in at all.
Right.
And so it was hard for me sometimes, like whether it be with sports or games and stuff like that, it really wasn't possible for me to just have, like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because, I just like what's going on with my golf game right now. I've golfed like 10 times in the last 12 days,
Yeah.
It's just not, once ain't enough. I'm not satisfied with that. And I'm not sitting here laughing about it like it's cute. I mean, it's really one of the things I got to really think about and check myself on, because if it's something that I'm putting in front of my relationship with the Lord, I don't care what it is, I need to remove it. Yeah. No matter what it is. So I just think that I told my wife this is a real on-time topic for me to be discussing today on here, and she needed to pray for me. And she actually called and prayed for us both, over the phone. But this is a real thing right now, and I think a lot of people struggle with it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't think they struggle with it.
They don't see anything wrong with it, and that's okay. I'm not here sitting here pointing fingers at anybody. I'm pointing all of them at myself right now. But I hope this makes somebody aware, at least makes them think a little bit, Yep. Like, am I putting a little bit too much time in this or that, or not, I just think it's just something that we need to talk about today.
Oh yeah. Like when I worked at a factory that shall not be named, there were a lot of people there that were addicted to work. Mm-hmm. We'd get off of work, and, we had a softball team, and we'd go and practice softball, and they're like, all right, everybody's ready to go home. And you had some guys like, I don't want to go home. Let's hit some more balls. Like, it's like they're addicted to being away from home, mm-hmm. because what I seen is they really just didn't like their home life. So they wanted to stay away. And it really is. It's just something else that we get addicted to, that we throw ourselves into, and we don't see that this is a problem. It may not be you're out driving drunk. It may just be that you're on your phone constantly, 8 hours a day.
Right.
That many times my wife gets on to me, when I'll be on my phone, like when we're watching a movie or something. And I'm glad she does that, because it really is. It's like, why am I? And I'm scrolling through nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not even on there for a reason. I'm just I'm like, what am I even scrolling through?
Right.
Just scrolling through your apps. It's like, we're so used to it now. Mm-hmm. And it's become such a big problem, which it's always been that. I see all these posts talking about, these kids now, all they do is they're on their phone. I seen a picture of like a subway where everybody, as far as you could see, is on their phones. It's like, see, this is the problem. And then I seen somebody put a picture up of like the 1920s, a subway or a train or something. Everybody's waiting, and they all have newspapers.
Right.
It's like it's the same thing. We have to really make it a point to focus on the things that matter, especially in the day that we're living in now. You know, it seems like everybody's getting further and further apart from each other. I just heard a story that there's a Walmart in Arkansas that's starting to mess around with no cashiers whatsoever in the whole store. It's all self-checkout or automated stuff. And it's like, me being a people person, that scares me. I don't like that at all. I want to see people. I want to go out and have interactions and conversations with people. I don't want to. I love technology as more than anybody else I know, but I don't want it to just be a screen. I don't want it. I don't want to hear your voice just over a cell phone. I want to interact with you. I want to hug. I want to high five and love on each other and spend time together. And many times even with me saying that, I'm in that position, but then I'm on a screen. I'm dealing with other things instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to be present in this moment. And that's how we have to be with our relationship with God. It's the same thing. God, I'm going to be present in this moment. How many times are we in service and we check our watch? We check our phone. Did somebody send something on Facebook? Or, you know, we take our focus away because we're so preoccupied with everything else that we don't take that time and say, God, you know what? This is your time. You know, we talked not too long ago about this when we were doing communion, and the Bible says, you know, 10% belongs to Him. He didn't specifically say 10% of your money; he said 10% of everything. Right. And we, you know, even when we do give our 10% of our money, we think that's it. All right, well, God, I gave my 10% for the week. I'm good. It's like, no, I want 10% of your time. Right. I want 10% of your thoughts. I want 10% of everything that you've got. Yeah. Just 10%. That's all He wants. And we struggle so many times to not even give Him that. You know, what if we gave Him 10% of our time? 2 hours and 40 minutes every day.
Yeah, I think we live life a little differently.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you know, I'm not saying that you have to take that 2 hours and 40 minutes and just get in your prayer closet and shut them off. Even on your way to work, you're talking to God, you're praying to Him. That's part of your time with Him. You know, I hear a lot of preachers, they say, well, you need to spend this time just in the Word or just praying. It's like, I think it was Paul that said it in the Bible that your praise will constantly be on my lips, constantly be praying, constantly be talking to the Lord, constantly have Him on your mind. That counts. That's spending time with Him. Yes. You know, maybe it'd be on your way to work or while you're at the gym. Yes, you're doing stuff at the gym, but you're listening to praise and worship music. You're praying. You know, you're talking to God. God, you know, praying for your family or whatever it may be. That counts as much as anything else. You know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you know, God speaks to us in that still small voice, and you know, sometimes to be able to hear that, you have to really slow things down and really focus on Him and what He's speaking to you, because you can miss God really easy. You know, if everything is geared really fast in the world, you know, it's just everything is so quick, but yeah, you really have to really slow down and like you said, spend that time in prayer and in the Word and allow God to speak to you, or you'll miss what He's got for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which I think that's the cool thing about, I say cool, I don't mean cool, because I know there's a lot of lives been affected, but that's one of the things that I've found in my life during this COVID and all this going on, is that I've been able to really slow things down. Yeah. You know, we get in our routine of, you know, right now basketball would be going on and baseball would be gearing up, and, you know, we'd be so consumed by all those things. And right now kind of everything's been stripped away. You know, even theaters, like that was my thing. Like going to the movies, I love doing that. But everything's been stripped away and minimalized so that we have had the opportunity to say, you know what, God, now I could spend a little more time with you. I could spend a little bit more time with my family to where I don't have all these other things trying to fight over my attention. I can really focus on these past couple of months. I've been able to just hang out with my kids. Yeah. Sometimes I want to shove them outside and make them stay outside, but for the most part, it's been so great to just sit and watch them play. I can't tell you how many times I've just sat on the couch and just been mesmerized watching my kids play or interact with each other, just do these small things that you overlook during the day. You get home and maybe you're tired or you know, you and your wife may be arguing, but it's those little things, the way Sissy would use her utensils and the way Lee would play with with Bubby is just small things that I kind of took for granted, that I've been able to sit back and watch them. Like I said, with Lee turning 16, it's really given me a new perspective on things go by so fast. A couple of years she's going to be out and in college, and Missy talked about her oldest or second
Bethany.
oldest, Bethany, going off to college and how tough that is. And I want to take these times to slow down and enjoy those small little things.
Right.
And I think that it's an amazing time to be able to do that. So we want to encourage anybody out there that maybe your life's hectic or you're at work right now and you realize that you're not spending that time with your spouse or your kids or with God in prayer or in his word. Take the time, slow down, take a second to breathe, take a second to internalize and say, you know what, I'm just going to breathe. The Apple Watch has got a cool thing where you just take a few seconds and breathe. Realize that you don't have to do everything right now. Things can wait. Enjoy the little things. Find that little thing that you maybe overlooked, that you've taken for granted, something that your spouse does, something that your kids do, something that you may do. Slow her down and take a second. Enjoy the little things. Give God the glory. Give him some of your time. Yeah. Set aside some time. Like you said, that was all purposely set aside time for God every day. And just enjoy it. Stop overlooking it. Stop running from it, and just slow things down.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been a really great show. It's been a tough one, but it's been a good one. And we just want to welcome you guys to join us in church on Sunday mornings, 8:30 parking lot, 10 o'clock inside. If you don't have a church home, come see us, Dexter Lighthouse. We'll treat you like family here. This has been the Almost Brothers podcast. I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Michael. Love y'all.